You are listening to Marked by Mistake, a Red Riding Hood and Cinderella story, written by D.N. Leo, narrated by Jessica Lee. If you like shifter romances with heartwarming moments and a touch of fairy tales, this story is for you. What happens when a food delivery driver accidentally hits a billionaire alpha with her beat-up Honda? Aria Winters has spent 3 years feeding forgotten elders and running from her past. Ethan Blackwood has spent his whole life meeting pack expectations. But when divine blood meets destiny on a dark city street, everything changes. Get ready for a fake relationship that turns all too real, a heroine who delivers more than just food, and a love story that proves sometimes the best things in life start with the worst mistakes. If you enjoy this story, make sure you give it a like and comment below. DN Leo reads and responds to every comment. Your engagement helps other romance lovers find this video. And now sit back, relax, and enjoy this tale of accidental mates, magical mishaps, and finding your happily ever after in the most unexpected places. Chapter 1. "This is stupid," her wolf announced as Aria gunned the Honda through a red light. Taking the Packtown route for deliveries? That's like wearing a "Please Eat Me" sign in neon, with arrows pointing at our jugular. "The Nakamuras tipped 40% last week," Aria said, downshifting around a corner that made her ancient Honda wheeze like an asthmatic elephant. The gearbox protested with a grinding sound that definitely wasn't normal. "Rich guilt pays for Martha's heart medication. Martha's heart medication won't help if we're dead," Wolf pointed out. "Dead wolves can't feed their elders. Besides, they're not exactly your elders. I know you love them and all, but you shouldn't have to support them alone." "Who else is going to do it?" Aria asked, checking her mirrors. "The packs that threw them out? The government that pretends shifters don't exist? Or maybe the fairy godmother I've got stashed in my trunk? Fair point, but when we die, I'm going to spend eternity saying, 'I told you so.'" "When we die, you'll be too dead to say anything," Aria said. "Bold of you to assume death will shut me up. I'll haunt you. I'll be the world's first ghost wolf." The red leather jacket had seen better days. Aria tugged at the worn collar while waiting at a light, catching her reflection in the side mirror. Her ponytail, a riot of flame-red curls barely contained by an industrial-strength elastic, blazed like a warning in the streetlight. Frizz escaped in every direction, making her look like she'd been electrocuted. She'd promised herself she'd start taking better care of her appearance. Right after she figured out how to stretch her delivery wages to cover 23 elders' needs, her rent, and maybe, just maybe, a new transmission for the Honda before it gave up entirely. "You're thinking about the car again," Wolf observed. "I can feel your financial anxiety. It tastes like instant ramen and broken dreams." "Very poetic," Aria said. "You should write greeting cards." "Sorry your pack abandoned you. Here's a casserole. Think Hallmark would go for it?" Despite everything, Aria smiled. Thursday nights meant 8 restaurants, 23 mouths to feed, and a carefully choreographed dance through the city's supernatural territories. The math was always the same. Shortcuts through pack territory meant making it to Romano's before they tossed the day-old bread. Safety meant empty stomachs. She'd made her choice 3 years ago and hadn't looked back. The shortcut yawned ahead, a gap between warehouses where the city pretended civilization ended. No streetlights, no cameras, just the kind of dark that made smart humans lock their doors and drive faster. Pine and diesel filled her nose, city rot mixed with something wilder. The pine was wrong, though, too fresh for the urban jungle. Aria checked the dash clock. 11:42. The numbers glowed green in the darkness, the only part of her dashboard that still worked properly. The sushi drop in Riverside Heights had taken longer than expected, Mrs. Nakamura insisting she stay for tea, pressing an extra 20 into her hand for gas, both of them pretending it wasn't charity. Ming's backlot materialized through the gloom. Carlos leaned against the service door, cigarette painting orange arcs in the dark. 2 garbage bags sat at his feet. "Cutting it close, Lobita," Carlos said, Smoke curled from his mouth, mixing with the grease-scented steam from the kitchen vents. "Traffic," Aria said, popping the trunk. She knew the weight before she lifted. Her muscles had memorized it. Good weight. Enough wontons and fried rice to keep her elders fed through the weekend. The bags were still warm. Carlos studied her face. "You okay, Red?" Red. Half the city called her that. She'd given up trying to be invisible years ago. Hard to hide when your hair looked like a forest fire. "Just tired. Thanks for this, Carlos. Really. Don't thank me. Just keep those viejos fed, yeah?" He flicked ash into the wind. "New owners next month. Corporate types. They find out I'm saving food for you instead of tossing it. We're both screwed." Her stomach twisted. Another source about to dry up. "I'll find other places. I always do." "I know you will, Lobita. You're tougher than you look." He crushed out his cigarette. "My abuela was pack once, before they decided she was too old to be useful. I remember what hungry looks like." 2 more stops. Thai Palace's curry would mask the antiseptic smell that clung to the warehouse no matter how much sage Martha burned. Romano's left their bread in neat bags by the dumpster. Antonio's quiet rebellion against corporate waste. By the time she reached Forgotten Paws, her wolf had gone from chatty to silent. "Something's wrong," Wolf said as Aria killed the engine. "I feel it too," Aria admitted. The warehouse squatted against the river like a guilty secret. No sign, no lights. The elders couldn't afford either. But Aria knew every shadow, every broken window, every rust stain on the loading dock. 3 years of Thursday nights had carved this place into her bones. The door scraped open before she could knock. Sage's silhouette filled the frame, silver hair braided back from a face that had weathered 73 winters. Her blind eye caught the moonlight like an opal, somehow seeing more than her good eye ever could. "Late again," Sage said, but her nose twitched, scenting the food. The stern expression softened. Kenneth was starting to fret. "Kenneth frets when the sun rises in the east," Aria said, hefting the bags inside. "How's his arthritis?" "Better since you brought that heating pad last week." "Child, you shouldn't spend your money." "It was on sale," Aria lied smoothly. "Practically free." 23 elders who'd given their lives to packs that discarded them the moment they couldn't fight. The warehouse smelled like home. Old wolves, newer hope, an industrial-strength pine sol that couldn't quite mask the scent of age and abandonment. "Talking to yourself again?" Jerome emerged from the shadows, moving carefully on joints that had carried him through 40 years of enforcement work. "Or just arguing with your better half?" "I am definitely the better half," Wolf chimed in. "I have all the good jokes and none of the student loans." "Something like that," Aria said, unpacking containers. "Wontons tonight, Carlos threw in extra duck sauce. And Jerome, I grabbed those compression gloves you mentioned. They're in the blue bag." Jerome's scarred face went soft. "Aria, you can't keep—" "They help with the swelling, don't they?" Aria interrupted. "That's all that matters." They descended slowly, wolves who'd once run territories, raised pups, enforced laws. Now they gathered around donated tables for takeout scraps. Each face told a story. Each story ended the same way, not useful anymore. Aria's throat tightened the way it always did. Martha limped forward, favoring the leg that never healed right after her last challenge. "Bless you, child. Kenneth, stop hovering and help me with these containers." "I'm not hovering," Kenneth protested, but moved to help anyway, his hands gentle despite their slight tremor. Behind him, others emerged. Doris, cast out for the crime of growing old without dying in battle first. Marcus, who'd refused to execute his own son for loving a human. Thomas, who'd challenged an alpha over feeding pups during a famine and lost. Each thrown away like last season's fashion. "Spring rolls!" Doris's delight cut through the warehouse gloom. "Oh, sweet moon, I haven't had proper spring rolls in months." "See?" Wolf whispered. "Worth the risk. Doris's joy could power a small city. Or at least our broke-ass Honda. Aria wasn't so sure, but watching Thomas carefully divide his portion to save half for tomorrow, seeing Martha's face light up over simple wontons, hearing Marcus laugh at something Jerome said, maybe her wolf was right. Maybe this was worth whatever came next. "You're tense tonight," Sage appeared at Aria's elbow, silent despite her age. "More than usual. Long shift," Aria said. "Mrs. Patterson had me reorganize her entire library, again. Apparently, alphabetical by author wasn't good enough. She wanted them sorted by emotional resonance." Sage didn't smile. "You cut through Packtown." "It wasn't a question." Aria sighed. "Just for a few blocks." "Your mother used to take risks like that," Sage said quietly. "Always thought she was invincible." "I'm nothing like my mother," Aria said. "No," Sage agreed. "She never would have spent 3 years feeding abandoned elders. She had pride, but not your kind of strength." The elder's fingers found Aria's jacket sleeve, tracing the worn leather. "The harvest moon's in 3 days." "I know," Aria said. "It's not just any full moon for you, child. Your bloodline, the timing." Sage's voice dropped. "This heat will be different, stronger. It will call to every unmated alpha for miles." "I've handled it before," Aria said. "Not like this. Lock yourself away. 3 days starting tomorrow night. Promise me." Aria looked around the warehouse, at Jerome teaching Marcus a card trick, at Doris carefully saving half a spring roll for breakfast, at Kenneth fussing over Martha's pills. Who would make the Thursday run if she disappeared for 3 days? "I promise," she lied, the words ash on her tongue. "Good." Sage squeezed her arm. "We've lost enough to the packs. Can't lose our guardian angel, too." "Guardian angel?" Aria almost laughed. "Should I pick up some wings at the costume shop?" "You already have wings, child," Sage said softly. "You just can't see them. Now go, before the city gets hungrier." Outside, the city had gone quiet in that dangerous way that meant predators were hunting. Aria's wolf pressed against her consciousness, alert and ready. The Honda started on the 3rd try, another thing that needed fixing, another expense she couldn't afford. She'd made it 2 blocks when it happened. The impact came out of nowhere. The thud reverberated through the car's frame, violent enough to rock the vehicle on its worn shocks. Something large, something solid. "Please don't be a person," Aria whispered, slamming the brakes. Her hands shook as she fumbled with the door handle. Please don't be a person." What she saw when she stumbled out made her normally profanity-laden wolf go completely, utterly silent. Chapter 2. The wolf stood in her headlights like a piece of midnight given form. Massive, black as the shadows between stars. Power rolled off him in waves that made her knees buckle, made her lungs forget how to pull in air. She'd seen alphas before. This was something else entirely. His aura hit her with the force of a freight train, raw dominance that pressed against her skin, seeped into her bones, made every cell in her body scream 2 conflicting messages, run and mine. Her wolf exploded out of her skin. No warning, no control. One moment, Aria stood beside her dented Honda in human form. The next, her clothes shredded as fur erupted along her spine. The shift ripped through her like lightning, painful and electric and utterly involuntary. Bones cracked and reformed. Muscles stretched and snapped into new configurations. Her vision sharpened, colors bleeding away as scents flooded in. "What are you doing?" Her human consciousness screamed, but her wolf had taken the wheel. Time slowed to honey-thick moments. The massive black wolf turned toward her, golden eyes widening in surprise. She was already moving, already charging. Her paws hit asphalt with decisive thuds, claws scraping against concrete. She was smaller, significantly smaller, but her teeth were sharp and her fury was absolute. She didn't know why she needed to fight him, only that she did. He dodged her first attack with insulting ease, twisting his massive frame like smoke. Her jaws snapped on empty air. She spun, snarling, and launched again. This time, he met her charge. They collided with the sound of thunder. His weight drove her into the pavement, but she twisted, using her smaller size to slip from beneath him. Her teeth found his shoulder, tasting copper and wild. He roared, a sound that should have terrified her. Instead, it made her bite harder. He shook her off like she weighed nothing, but not before she drew blood. They circled each other, both panting. His golden eyes held confusion and something else, something that made her wolf preen despite the situation. She attacked again. He defended. They rolled across the asphalt in a tangle of fur and fury, neither going for killing blows but both drawing blood. Her ribs screamed where his teeth had found purchase. His shoulder bled where she'd marked. Marked. The word penetrated her wolf brain like ice water. She'd bitten his neck. Not just bitten. Marked. The realization hit, just as exhaustion did. They separated, both breathing hard, both bleeding. The shift back came without her permission, leaving her naked and shaking on the cold pavement. Every muscle screamed. Blood, hers and his, painted her skin in abstract patterns. The black wolf shifted too. "Oh, fuck," Aria whispered. The man kneeling across from her was inexplicably, unfairly, criminally handsome. Dark hair fell across his forehead, mussed from the shift. His face belonged on magazine covers or movie screens, all sharp angles and perfect symmetry. But it was his eyes that held her frozen. Still gold, still wild, still locked on hers with an intensity that made her forget about being naked and bleeding in a public street. Alpha radiated from him like heat from a forge. Not just any alpha, this was concentrated dominance, the kind that made other wolves bare their throats in submission. The kind that commanded territories and armies. The kind that was currently sporting her bite mark on his neck. "You," he said, voice rough from the shift, "marked me." Sage's warning slammed back into her consciousness. "The harvest moon. Your heat will be different. Stronger. Aria's throat clicked dry. "I didn't mean—" "You didn't mean to?" He rose to his feet in one fluid motion, magnificently unconcerned with his nudity. "You charged me, bit me, marked me, and you didn't mean to?" "You were in the road!" Aria scrambled up, trying to find dignity while naked and covered in blood. "Impossible. I hit you with my car." "I shifted to avoid being crushed," he said, each word precise despite the growl underneath. "A reflexive response to your vehicle assault. Then you attacked me." "I didn't—" But she had. Her wolf had taken one look at him and decided to claim him. "Look, this is just— it's complicated." "Complicated?" He touched the mark on his neck and something hot flashed in his eyes. "You think marking an alpha without consent is complicated? I didn't mark you back. I have no intention of marking you. I don't even know you." "Then why were you here?" Aria demanded, grasping for solid ground. "This isn't Packtown. This is no man's land. Since when do I need permission to drive through the city?" His scent washed over her, pine and storm and something indefinably expensive. Not cologne, just him. "You were following me," she accused. "I smelled pine in Packtown. That was you." His laugh held no humor. "The world doesn't revolve around you, Red. I had business in the area." "What business?" Aria lifted her chin, ignoring how his gaze tracked the movement. "What possible business could someone like you have here?" "Someone like me?" "You smell expensive," she said, "like you bathe in money and power. People like you don't come to this part of the city unless they're lost or looking for trouble. Maybe I like trouble." His eyes glinted dangerously. "Or maybe you're trying to deflect from the fact that you hit me with your car and then marked me without consent." "I can't control the blood moon," Aria snapped before she could stop herself. Understanding dawned in his eyes. "Your heat." Heat flooded her face. "That's none of your business." "It became my business when you put your teeth in my neck." He stepped closer, and her wolf whined. "Do you have any idea what you've done?" "It doesn't mean anything," Aria said quickly. "Marks can be broken. We pretend this never happened." "Pretend?" Another step closer. His heat reached her across the space between them. "You think we can pretend?" Aria backed toward her car. "I need clothes, and you need to leave." "I'm not going anywhere until we sort this out." "There's nothing to sort." Aria yanked open her trunk, pulling out the emergency clothes she kept there, oversized sweatpants and a t-shirt that had seen better days. It was an accident. The blood moon made me. It's not binding if we don't complete it. She tugged on the clothes, hyper-aware of his gaze. When she turned back, he was leaning against a sleek black car she hadn't noticed before, still magnificently naked, still watching her with those impossible golden eyes. "Fine," he said. "We pretend this never happened. But you owe me an apology. At minimum." "An apology?" Aria gaped at him. "You were lurking in pack territory." "Driving. I was driving." "And then you just appeared in the road." "Because you ran a red light." Aria opened her mouth, then closed it. Had she? Everything before the impact was fuzzy, overshadowed by what came after. "Just stay away from me," she said finally. "Gladly." He slid into his car. How did anyone look dignified getting into a car naked? And started the engine. Try not to assault anyone else with your vehicle on the way home. Try not to lurk in the middle of the road. He drove away without another word, leaving her standing there with blood drying on her skin and his scent, their scents mingled in the air. "Aria?" Sage's voice cut through the night. "Child, what happened?" Aria turned to find the elder standing in the warehouse doorway, blind eye seeming to see everything. Skin," her wolf whispered. "Please, despite everything." "Aria." Sage's voice cut through the fussing. "That scent. That was Malcolm Blackwood's boy." The warehouse went silent. "Blackwood?" Aria's stomach dropped. As in, the Blackwood pack. Sage's face was grave. "You just marked the heir to the largest, most powerful pack in 3 territories. Ethan Blackwood. By accident. I'll apologize, take it back, whatever." "In normal circumstances, yes, but not with you. And especially not during the most critical blood moon period of your life." She felt a lump in her throat. She knew what Sage was saying. Other elders stopped what they were doing, waiting for an answer from Sage. The old wolf sighed and said nothing. It wasn't Sage's story to tell. Aria looked at her saturate elders, grandpas, grandmas. Cast out or not, they were the only family she had now. They deserved the answers. She shoved her hands into the pockets of the oversized sweatpants. "I wasn't cast out. I left my pack. Because..." She cleared her throat. "My mother, the pack said she died during a hunt, but I know she was killed by one of our own. I had no evidence." Sage shook her head. "Get to the point, Aria. We're family here. You can trust them. Or would you prefer me to tell them?" Aria cleared her throat. "No, I'll do it. My mother was divine blessed." Everyone's jaws dropped. You carry divine blood." Aria held a watery laugh. "Now the cat's out of the bag." I sank my teeth in one of the alphas' vein. "It's like a putting on a billboard in Broadway saying divine-blooded wolf shifter in town." Sage nodded. "Even if you apology and withdraw your mark, Ethan will soon find out what he had been marked with." "Ethan is a good boy in the Blackwood pack," Doris said. "You met him once when he was 5 at a festival." Marcus shook his head. "People changed, let alone the Blackwood boys." "What about that pack?" Aria asked. Sage smiled. "They are the strongest and one of the most dominant pack in the region. When you are in that kind of pack, internal competition is fierce, and that changes you as a person. One no pack can dominate a territory without competition. All rival packs looks at these moments to attack at one another when alphas make mistakes. But it was me marking Ethan, not his mistake." Aria asked. Sage smiled. "Aria, do you think you can physically beat him in a fight and mark him without consent? Be honest with yourself and answer that questions." Sage was right. Aria didn't think she could beat Ethan if he really meant to hurt her. Sage nodded knowingly. "See, others will see that too. All eyes will be on him, because either he likes you and let you mark him, which then he would have to proceed and mark you back and make a formal claim, or he's actually not as strong as he appears, being beaten by you, and then you refuse the mark and walk away. So if I walk away," Aria muttered. Shower door. "Father's in rare form. 3 alphas already called about your mysterious mate. Ethan shut off the water, wrapping the towel around his waist. In the mirror, the bite mark glowed against his skin. Undeniable evidence of his loss of control. "What's the damage, Babs?" he asked. "Riverside Pack thinks you're weak. Thornhill thinks you're hiding something. Crescent Bay just wants to know if she's single." Lucas perched on the counter, studying his brother. "So, who is she?" "Aria Winters." The name felt strange on his tongue. "Packless, works food delivery." Lucas's eyebrows shot up. "You let a delivery driver mark you?" "I didn't let her do anything." Ethan yanked on clothes with sharp movements. "She hit me with her car. I shifted to avoid injury. She shifted and attacked. And you just, what, laid there?" Ethan's jaw clenched. The truth was worse than Lucas's assumption. He'd seen her wolf, smaller, fierce, burning with desperate energy. And his first instinct hadn't been to fight. It had been to submit, to bare his throat and let her claim whatever she wanted. "I didn't want to hurt her," he admitted. "So you let her hurt you instead?" Lucas's voice gentled. "Ethan, the quarterly reports came in. We're down 18%. The board's pushing for the Riverside merger again." "I know. If they sense weakness," "I said I know." Ethan stalked to his home office, Lucas trailing behind. The city sprawled below his penthouse windows, territory his family had controlled for 3 generations. Territory that required constant strength to maintain. "Is the mark glowing, or is it my imagination?" Lucas asked. Ethan looked in the mirror. He wasn't surprised to see the mark glowing, because the foreign blood in his veins was singing and humming strange tunes that had kept him awake all night. Glowing was nothing compared to that. "You don't look surprised," Lucas observed. He shrugged. "The blood feels strange. I don't know why the mark is glowing. Doesn't hurt, though." "How did she look?" Ethan arched an eyebrow. "You know, strange, unusual?" "No, she looks nothing out of the ordinary. Red hair, small, fast." He didn't mention fearless, flame-ready, maddening eyes, large, green, deep enough to drown in. "Ethan." "Yes?" "You said small and fast twice." "That's everything, then." His phone buzzed. Malcolm's name flashed on screen. "Answer it," Lucas advised. "He's called 6 times." Ethan hit speaker. "Father, you have 1 hour to explain why my heir was marked by a nobody in the middle of the street." Malcolm's voice could have frozen hell. "The Riverside Pack is already spreading rumors." "She's not nobody. We've been dating for 3 months. Last night we got a little over-enthusiastic. Things got out of hand." "Right. So make the public know that you didn't let a random girl mark you for no reason." "I'll handle this." "No, not handling, Ethan. I want you to make this go away." "I will. Bring her to breakfast tomorrow. Your mother insists." The line went dead. "Well," Lucas said cheerfully, "that went better than expected. He didn't threaten dismemberment." Ethan pulled up Aria's address on his computer. A rundown building on the wrong side of town. "I need to fix this." "Kill her?" Lucas asked, too casually. "Make a deal." Ethan grabbed his keys. "She marked me. Now she owes me." "That's not how mate marks work." "It is now." The drive to Aria's neighborhood took him through territories he rarely visited. Abandoned shops, graffiti-covered walls, the smell of desperation thick in the air. His Audi looked obscene parked outside her building. He knocked, heard movement inside, then silence. "I know you're there," he called. "We need to talk." "Go away." Her voice was muffled, but he caught the edge of fear. "Open the door or I'll have your building condemned." "You wouldn't—" "Try me." The door opened 6 inches, chain still on. One green eye glared at him through the gap. "Threats? Really? That's your approach?" "Can I come in?" "No." He sighed. "Please." The chain dropped. She stood in worn pajama pants and an oversized t-shirt, red hair in a messy bun. Without the adrenaline of their first meeting, he could see her properly. Early 30s, sharp features softened by exhaustion, lean muscle from hard work. Beautiful in a way that had nothing to do with polish. Her apartment was tiny but clean. Sparse furniture, outdated appliances, but everything spotless. Photos covered one wall, her with elderly wolves, all smiling. "Nice place," he lied. "No, it's not." She crossed her arms. "What do you want?" "To make a deal." He stayed by the door, trying not to loom. Difficult when he had 6 inches and 60 pounds on her. "You marked me without consent. That creates complications. So, unmake it. It doesn't work that way." He touched his neck, saw her eyes track the movement. "My pack thinks I'm either weak enough to be overpowered by a lone wolf or stupid enough to choose an unsuitable mate." "I'm unsuitable?" Her chin lifted. "Because I'm poor? Because you're packless, powerless. You bring nothing to an alliance." Her eyes flashed. "Then reject me publicly. Problem solved." "That makes the matter worse." "Why? You're rich. Can't you do whatever you want?" "Money and power have nothing to do with this, Aria. I don't date and mark random women only to reject them in public. I have too much respect for women to do that." "You didn't mark me, I marked you." Her eyes flared. "I could have stopped you." "I didn't, and that's the problem." He locked eyes with her. She didn't flinch. He never meant to intimidate people, but whenever he locked eyes with them, they backed down. Not this woman, not Aria. "I have a proposal. Hit me. I told my family we've been dating for 3 months, and things got a little out of hand last night. So, we'll continue with that fictional relationship for a little longer, then declare that we don't fit and part ways. Natural and clean. Fake dating?" She laughed, but it sounded hollow. "You're serious?" "Deadly serious. I can walk away from this, you know." "Of course, you're a free woman and I don't force people into doing what they don't want." He pulled out his phone, showing her the screen. "Recognize this address?" Her face went white. "That's the warehouse I rent for the elders. That's Forgotten Paws. My company bought that warehouse and the entire dock a week ago. The plan is to extend our existing logistics network. I went there to inspect the place. That's why I was there last night." He pocketed the phone. "Agree to my terms and I'll postpone the plan. The elders get to stay there rent-free until we can provide them with alternative accommodations." "You'd evict elderly wolves?" Disbelief colored her voice. "I developed the property as planned. It's business. It's blackmail. It's negotiation." He kept his voice level. "You created this problem. Help me solve it, and everyone wins." She sank onto her couch, head in her hands. "This is insane." "This is necessary." He checked his watch. "Do we have an agreement?" "I assume we can't have this in writing. So how do I know you won't throw the elders out tomorrow?" He sat on the sofa opposite her, giving her a beat to gather her thoughts. "I understand this is as difficult for you as it is for me, but I don't see any solution that leaves us both better off." She tied back her magnificent red hair, took a beat, then looked up at him. "Deal. But if you pull any monkey business on the elders, trust me, you won't know what I'm capable of." He smiled. "Wouldn't dream of pissing you off. By the way, breakfast with my parents tomorrow, 7 a.m. We've been dating 3 months. You come from a pack on the border of New South Wales. Your pack is remote and doesn't engage with the general pack network. That's why we've never heard of them. You're working delivery because your pack sent you out to see how other packs live amongst humans. That's how we met." She chuckled. "Nice cover story. You have a drama degree?" He didn't smile back. "Pack politics is complicated. I appreciate you working with me on this. I'll make it worthwhile for you." "Like paying me?" "Money is easy compensation for me, if that's what you want." "You don't know what I want, Ethan. But we're on the same page regarding money." "That's too easy. I'll tell you what I want later. You might not be able to afford it, so let's shake hands on this." She reached her hand out, looking up, locking eyes with him. She'd turned the tables, and it felt like he was the one writing a blank check. "Cold feet, Ethan?" He grabbed her hand. "Of course not." The contact sent electricity through the mark, making them both tense. She didn't let go first, another small victory for her. 7 a.m., he repeated, standing. "I'll send appropriate clothes. I don't need—" "It's not charity. It's costuming for the role." He moved to the door. We need to be convincing. An hour later, Ethan found himself in Bergdorf's after hours, the store opened specially for him. He moved through the racks with unusual uncertainty. What did Aria Winters wear to meet parents who expected pearls and pedigree? Not pearls. That much he knew. He selected a deep emerald dress, elegant but not ostentatious. The color would complement her eyes and hair. Not too short, not too conservative. A dress that said, "I belong here," without trying too hard. The shoes, the assistant asked. He chose simple black heels, low enough to be practical. She'd need to feel stable, not teetering. A classic coat in charcoal wool. Understated jewelry, just gold studs and a delicate chain. Undergarments, sir? He paused. That felt too intimate, too presumptuous. No, just include a gift card for anything else needed. The assistant smiled knowingly as she packaged everything. Your girlfriend is very lucky, Mr. Blackwood. Not many men would take such care. He signed the receipt, unsure why her words made him uncomfortable. This wasn't care. This was strategy. Costuming, as he'd told Aria. But he'd noticed she favored her left ankle. Old injury, probably. Hence the lower heels. He'd seen her push her hair back constantly, hence the simple studs that wouldn't catch in her curls. He'd remembered the photos in her apartment, how she smiled in them, genuine, not performative. Hence the dress that would let her move freely, feel like herself, even while playing a role. Not care. Observation. There was a difference. The mark throbbed, calling him a liar. As he left the shop, Ethan couldn't shake the image of her green eyes, unflinching under his stare. Most people looked away. She'd looked deeper, like she was cataloging his weaknesses for future reference. Smart. He'd have to remember that. Aria Winters was packless, not powerless. 6 months. He just had to control this for 6 months. His phone buzzed. Lucas. How'd the shopping go? His brother's voice held barely contained amusement. Fine. Ella at Bergdorf's called. Said you spent 20 minutes debating dress colors. Said you asked about comfort and movement. Said you looked, and I quote, sweetly concerned. Ella gossips too much. Since when do you shop for women, Ethan? Since never. He'd never even shopped for his ex-girlfriends. They'd had their own credit cards, their own stylists. It's strategic, he said. Sure it is, Lucas laughed. See you at breakfast. Can't wait to meet the woman who has you buying dresses and looking sweetly concerned. Ethan hung up. 6 months. Just 6 months. The mark pulsed warm against his neck, and somewhere across the city, Aria Winters was probably plotting his demise. Chapter 4. The knock came at 5:47 a.m., jolting Aria from a restless sleep, filled with dreams of golden eyes and corporate boardrooms where everyone spoke in growls. Rise and shine, Cinderella, her wolf said, far too cheerful. Our pumpkin awaits. Shut up, Aria mumbled, stumbling to the door. A delivery man stood outside with several pristine boxes bearing logos she'd only seen through store windows. Delivery for Ms. Winters? She signed, trying not to think about how those boxes probably cost more than her rent. As soon as the door closed, she opened the largest one. Emerald fabric spilled out like liquid gemstones. Oh, fuck me, she whispered. That's the general idea, eventually, Wolf said. Not helping. She couldn't wear this. The dress was beautiful, elegant without being ostentatious, clearly expensive but not showy. It was perfect, which was exactly the problem. Aria grabbed the boxes and headed for her car. 20 minutes later, she burst into forgotten pause to find most of the elders already awake, sitting around with coffee that smelled more like tar than beans. Need help, she announced, setting the boxes on their communal table. Sage took one look at her face. The breakfast? In an hour. Aria pulled out the dress, holding it up helplessly. I can't do this. I don't even know how to put this on. Does it have a zipper? Hidden buttons? Some rich people's secret? The warehouse went silent. Then, like a well-oiled machine that had been waiting for this moment their whole lives, the elders sprang into action. Doris, get your makeup kit, Sage commanded. Jerome, clear the bathroom. Martha, we need your pearls. Thomas, start the coffee. The good stuff I've been hiding. You've been hiding good coffee? Kenneth looked betrayed. Hush. Aria, come with me. Sage steered her toward their makeshift bathroom. Strip. I can dress myself. Child, you've been dressing yourself in thrift store finds and borrowed courage for 3 years. Sage's blind eye seemed to see right through her. Today, you're going into battle. And we're your army. Within minutes, Aria found herself surrounded by fairy godmothers with arthritis and opinions. The dress goes on last, Martha instructed, wrapping Aria in a robe that had seen better decades. First, we make you sparkle. Doris attacked her face with brushes while Sage worked on her hair, fingers surprisingly gentle as she tamed the red chaos into elegant waves. Ow! Aria yelped as Sage hit a particularly stubborn knot. Beauty is pain, Sage said serenely. Also, stop fidgeting. I feel like a fraud, Aria admitted. Good, Jerome said from the doorway. That means you're paying attention. Every alpha family gathering is 90% performance, 10% barely contained violence. That's reassuring. I sat through 100 of these breakfasts once upon a time, he said, his scarred face softening with memory. Before my pack decided I was too old to be useful. Helena Blackwood's tests are legendary. She'll start sweet, compliment something small, make you feel welcome. Then she'll ask about your family, your pack, your bloodline. We covered that. I'm from New South Wales. She'll know that's rehearsed. Martha pinned a strand of hair back. Helena can smell a lie like we can smell fear. So you give her truth, wrapped in misdirection. How? When she asks about your mother, you say she died young. Truth. When she asks about your pack, you say you left to find your own way. Truth. Sage's fingers never paused in their work. You just don't mention the divine blood or the murder accusation. We're getting good at this lying thing, Wolf observed. Maybe we should go into politics. Fork from the outside in, Doris said, applying something to Aria's lips that tasted like wax and roses. Small bites. Never finish everything on your plate. Rich people think that's desperate. But that's wasteful. That's wealthy, Martha corrected. Different rules up there, honey. Don't bare your teeth unless threatened, Thomas added, appearing with actually decent coffee, even in a smile. Show too many teeth and alphas think it's a challenge. How the fuck do I smile without teeth? Language, 3 elders scolded in unison. Like this. Doris demonstrated a close-lipped smile that somehow still looked warm. Mysterious, elegant. Constipated, Aria countered. Practice, Sage ordered. For the next 20 minutes, Aria got a crash course in pack politics, proper posture, and the art of cutting someone down with a compliment. If another woman says what an interesting choice about anything you're wearing, she's insulting you, Martha explained. You respond with, how kind of you to notice, which means, fuck off, Aria guessed. Precisely, but elegantly. Finally, they helped her into the dress. It fit perfectly. Ethan had guessed her size with disturbing accuracy. The emerald color did make her eyes pop, as Doris gleefully pointed out 12 times. Now the shoes, Sage said. Aria looked at the heels. Those are weapons, not footwear. They're barely 2 inches, Martha protested. I used to run in 6-inch stilettos. When? Kenneth called out. During the Jurassic period? Martha threw a shoe at him with impressive accuracy. Focus! Sage clapped her hands. Aria, put them on. Walk. Aria strapped on the death traps and took a step. Then another. This isn't so... She wobbled, catching herself on Jerome's offered arm. Heel to toe, he instructed. Smooth, like you're gliding. I don't glide, I stomp, it's my thing. Not today, Sage said firmly. Today you float. You're a mysterious woman from New South Wales who caught Ethan Blackwood's eye. You're elegant, refined, slightly dangerous. I'm a delivery driver who lives on ramen and spite. Not today, all the elders said in unison. When they finally let her look in the mirror, Aria didn't recognize herself. The dress hugged in all the right places without being revealing. Her hair fell in soft waves that somehow looked effortless, the makeup enhanced rather than masked. "I look like you're about to conquer the world," Sage said softly. "Or at least one stubborn alpha." "We clean up nice," Wolf admitted, though I still say we should have bitten him harder. A knock at the warehouse door made everyone freeze. "That'll be the driver," Jerome said, checking his watch. "Right on time. Rich people are always punctual. It's annoying." Aria's hands shook as she gathered the small purse that had come with the ensemble. "What if I fuck this up? What if they see right through me?" Sage gripped her shoulders. "Then you remember who you are. Not the dress, not the manners, not the pretty words. You're the woman who feeds the forgotten, who drives through dangerous territory to make sure we eat, who stood up to an alpha and marked him because your wolf recognized something worth claiming. Even if it was an accident? Especially then," Sage smiled. "The best things usually are." The elders lined up like a receiving line, each offering last-minute advice. "Chin up," from Thomas. "Breathe through your nose," from Doris. "If someone's rude, step on their foot with those heels. Make it look accidental," from Martha. "Don't let them smell fear," from Kenneth. "Trust your wolf," from Jerome. "She knows what she's doing even when you don't." Sage walked her to the door where a uniformed driver waited beside a car that cost more than the warehouse. "Ms. Winters, Mr. Blackwood asked me to give you this." He handed her a phone. Ethan's text waited. "Remember, 3 months, coffee shop, you spilled a latte. My favorite color is blue. I take my coffee black. You hate my car but love my laugh. We argue about books. You're allergic to shellfish." "Controlling much?" Aria muttered, typing back. "Your favorite color is green. You pretend to take coffee black but add sugar when no one's looking. I don't hate your car. I hate that you can't park it. We argue about everything. I'm not allergic to anything except bullshit." 3 dots appeared immediately. Then, "How do you know about the sugar?" "Lucky guess. Rich people always lie about coffee." "Get in the car, Red." She looked back at her elders, all crowded in the doorway like worried parents. "Wish me luck?" "You don't need luck," Sage said. "You have something better." "What's that?" "You have us, and we'll be here when you get back, ready to hear every detail." The car door closed with the kind of solid thunk that spoke of money and engineering. As they pulled away, Aria saw her family in the rearview mirror, still watching. "Ready for this?" Wolf asked. "No," Aria said, touching the mark hidden beneath carefully arranged hair. It pulsed warm, like encouragement. "But we're doing it anyway." The city transformed as they drove, industrial grit giving way to manicured lawns and gates designed to keep people like her out. With each mile, the knot in her stomach tightened. Her phone buzzed. Ethan again. "Almost here, remember." She cut him off with a text. "I know the story. Stop panicking." "I don't panic. Your 17 texts suggest otherwise." "I'm being thorough." "You're being a control freak." "That too." Despite everything, she smiled, then caught herself. This was fake. A business arrangement. The mark might pulse with every text, but that was just biology. Pheromones. Proximity. The car turned through massive gates, and Aria's breath caught. The Blackwood estate sprawled like something from a movie, all glass and stone and calculated intimidation. Gardens that probably required a staff of dozens. A fountain that had no purpose except to say, "We have money to waste on water features." "Eat the rich," Wolf muttered, starting with the one who marked us. The car stopped. Through the window, she saw Ethan waiting at the entrance. He wore a charcoal suit that made him look like danger dressed in Armani. His face was unreadable, but she caught the way his hand twitched. Nervousness or anticipation? The driver opened her door. Showtime. Aria stepped out, proud when she didn't wobble in the heels. Ethan's eyes swept over her, and something flashed across his face too quick to read. "You look," he started. "Like I belong?" she suggested, chin up. "Like trouble," he said quietly, offering his arm. "Beautiful trouble." She took his arm, ignoring how right it felt. "Save the compliments for your audience." "That was for me," he said, leading her toward the door. "The audience gets the show, but that dress, the way you—" He stopped. "We should go in." "Tongue-tied, Blackwood? That's new." His laugh was strained. "You have no idea what you do to me." "It's just the mark." "It's not just the mark." He paused at the door, turning to face her fully. "I need you to know that. Whatever happens in there, whatever we have to say or do, it's not just the mark making me." "Making you what?" "Want things I shouldn't want." His hand touched her cheek, so briefly she might have imagined it. "Want you." Before she could respond, the door opened. "Ethan," a melodious voice said, punctual as always. Helena Blackwood stood in the doorway like a queen granting an audience. Silver-streaked hair swept into an elegant chignon, clothes that whispered rather than shouted their expense. But it was her eyes that made Aria's wolf stand at attention. Sharp, knowing, already dissecting every detail. "Mother," Ethan said smoothly, though Aria felt his tension through their joined arms. "This is Aria." "Of course she is." Helena's smile was warm, but her eyes? Those were pure calculation. "Welcome to our home, dear. We've been so eager to meet the woman who finally caught our son." She stepped forward, air-kissing Aria's cheeks with practiced ease. This close, Aria caught her scent. Power and Chanel No. 5. "Thank you for having me, Mrs. Blackwood," Aria said, proud when her voice came out steady. "Helena, please. Mrs. Blackwood was my mother-in-law, and she was terrifying." Helena linked arms with her, smoothly separating her from Ethan. "Come, let's get you some coffee. I'm dying to hear how you two met." Ethan's been frustratingly vague. As Helena led her into a foyer that belonged in a museum, Aria caught Ethan's eye over her shoulder. He looked like a man watching someone he cared about walk into a lion's den. "Game on," Wolf said. The den, as it turned out, was a dining room flooded with morning light. Crystal caught rainbows, china so fine you could see through it, and at the head of the table, Malcolm Blackwood, looking like God's own enforcer in a Tom Ford suit. He stood when they entered, old-fashioned manners over modern power. "So," he said, voice like gravel over silk, "you're the one who marked my son." The words hit like a slap wrapped in velvet. No pretense, no small talk, just straight for the throat. Aria felt every eye in the room lock onto her. Helena's knowing smirk, Ethan's tension, Malcolm's assessment. Time to perform. "Yes," she said, meeting his gaze directly. "I am." The silence that followed could have choked a lesser woman. But Aria had faced down hungry alphas in dark alleys. She'd survived her mother's murder and 3 years alone. She'd marked Ethan fucking Blackwood and lived to tell about it. She could handle breakfast. "That's our girl," Wolf approved. "Now let's show these rich puppies what we're made of." Chapter 5. Malcolm Blackwood set down his coffee cup with the kind of deliberate precision that made Aria's wolf bristle. Breakfast had been 47 minutes of surgical questions disguised as small talk, and she dodged them all like a boxer in heels. "Before you leave," Malcolm said, his voice cutting through her relief, "the pack gathering tonight. 8 o'clock, formal dress." Aria's hand stilled on her water glass. "Tonight?" "The monthly formal," Helena added, studying her reaction. "All the allied packs attend. It's tradition." "Trap," her wolf warned. "This wasn't part of the deal." "I wasn't aware," Aria started. "Oh, you must come." A honeyed voice dripped from the doorway. A blonde woman glided in, all legs and predatory grace. Everything about her screamed money and breeding, the kind of she-wolf who'd never delivered food at 2 a.m. or worried about rent. "I'm Victoria Riverside. I've been dying to meet Ethan's friend." The pause before friend said everything. "Mate," Ethan corrected, his hand finding Aria's shoulder. The touch sent heat through the mark. "Aria is my mate." Victoria's smile sharpened. "Of course. Though it's unusual, isn't it? A mate who hasn't been marked back?" Her eyes found Aria's throat, notably bare of any claiming bite. How modern. We're taking our time, Aria said, proud when her voice came out steady. How sweet. Victoria turned to Malcolm. Since Ethan finally has a formal date, perhaps he should handle tonight's pack relations. I'm happy to accompany Lucas instead. Give the new couple a chance to shine. Lucas choked on his coffee. I'm good flying solo, thanks. Nonsense, Malcolm said, and his tone brooked no argument. Victoria's right, time Ethan took on more pack responsibilities with his mate. The word mate cracked like a whip. A test, a challenge, a trap wrapped in tradition. Of course, Ethan said smoothly, but Aria felt his tension through their contact. We'd be honored. Wonderful, Victoria's teeth flashed. I'll save you both a dance. Can't wait to see how well you move together. As they walked to the door, Victoria fell into step beside Aria. Such an interesting dress, she murmured. Where did you say you were from again? I didn't, Aria replied. No? How mysterious. Victoria's laugh tinkled like breaking glass. Well, I'm sure tonight will be illuminating. Small-town wolves always find our gatherings so overwhelming. All those traditions and protocols, so easy to make mistakes. Victoria! Ethan's voice could have frozen fire. Just being friendly. She air-kissed Aria's cheek, whispering, Can't wait to see you try to keep up. These shoes are darling, by the way. Did Ethan pick them? He always did like his women. Manageable. Aria's wolf snarled. Before she could respond, Ethan's hand pressed firm against her back, guiding her out. In the car, silence stretched thick as honey. You can refuse, Ethan said finally. This wasn't part of our agreement. That bitch thinks I can't handle it, Aria said. Victoria's a bitch. I said it. Aria turned to face him. She wants you. She wants the power that comes with me. His knuckles were white on the steering wheel. There's a difference. Is there? The question slipped out before she could stop it. He pulled over so abruptly, she grabbed the door handle. Yes, he said, turning to face her fully. There is. The intensity in his eyes made her throat dry. Ethan, you survived my mother's interrogation. You matched my father stare for stare. You didn't flinch when Victoria tried to gut you with words. His hand rose to her cheek, thumb brushing her jaw. You're magnificent. Her wolf practically purred. Mark us, it begged. Complete the bond. Don't, Aria whispered. His hand dropped. I'm sorry, I shouldn't. He faced forward again. The gathering tonight, you don't have to. We have a deal, she said firmly. 6 months. I'll see it through. Even if it means dancing with wolves who want to tear you apart, especially then. She lifted her chin. I don't run from fights. Something flickered in his eyes. No, you run toward them in wolf form and mark people without permission. Are you ever letting that go? Ask me in 6 months. He dropped her at the warehouse where 23 faces waited at the windows like nosy neighbors. I'll send appropriate attire, he said. Another dress? Unless you'd prefer to go naked. Though that might send the wrong message. Or the right one, she muttered. His laugh followed her inside. 3 hours later, Aria stood in Ming's kitchen, gripping Carlos's hands like a lifeline. I need to learn ballroom dancing, she said, in the next hour, or I'm dead. Carlos's eyebrows climbed. Ballroom? Like waltz? Like whatever rich werewolves do at formal gatherings where they judge your worth by your ability to not step on your partner's feet. He grinned. Say no more. My abuela taught me everything. He hit play on his phone. Reggaeton blasted through the kitchen. This is not ballroom, Aria yelped as he spun her into what felt like combat training. It's all in the hips, Lobita. He dipped her so low her hair brushed the flour-dusted floor. Feel the rhythm. I'm feeling nauseous. That's the passion. He yanked her up into something that involved far too much grinding and not enough personal space. Now the key is to let your body speak. My body is screaming, Aria gasped. This is salsa, not waltz. Salsa, waltz, all dancing is the same. It's about connection. He spun her again, and she crashed into the prep counter. The only connection I'm making is with your kitchen equipment. You need to loosen up. He grabbed her hips. Like this. Am I interrupting? They froze. Lucas Blackwood leaned in the doorway, looking like he'd stepped out of a magazine into their flower-covered chaos. Carlos's hands disappeared so fast Aria nearly fell. We're closed. I can see that. Lucas's eyes danced with amusement. Interesting teaching method. He was just, Aria started, teaching you the wrong kind of dancing for tonight? Lucas stepped into the kitchen. Unless the pack gathering has drastically changed, you'll need something more. Traditional. Kill me now, Wolf groaned. Kill me and bury me in those fancy shoes. How did you even find me? Aria demanded. Ethan may have mentioned you might need assistance. Lucas pulled off his jacket, rolling up his sleeves. And before you hit me with that spatula, I'm here to help. Why would you help me? Because Victoria Riverside is a piranha in Prada, and I'd rather not see my brother's mate eaten alive. He offered his hand. Also, I'm an excellent teacher, and I promise to forget everything I see here. Aria looked at his extended hand. Professional. Proper. Everything Carlos's enthusiastic grinding hadn't been. 1 hour, she said. 1 hour, he agreed. Then to Carlos, mind if we use your space? I'll pay for the inconvenience. Carlos's eyes widened at the bills Lucas produced. My kitchen is your kingdom, senor. But Ming's kitchen was too small, too full of equipment and Carlos's curious eyes. This isn't working, Lucas said after Aria knocked over a stack of pans. We need more space. The warehouse, Aria said reluctantly. My friends have a space. Lucas didn't question why her friends had a warehouse. Rich people, she was learning, were excellent at selective blindness. The elders, however, were not. That's a Blackwood boy, Jerome said the moment they walked in. The younger one, Sage added, blind eye seeing everything as always. I'm Lucas, he said, bowing slightly. You must be Aria's family. Something like that, Martha said suspiciously. I'm teaching her to waltz, Lucas explained, for tonight's gathering. 23 elderly wolves exchanged looks. Well, Doris said finally, clear the tables. If our girl's going dancing, she's going to be the best damn dancer there. They made space in the center of the warehouse. Lucas queued up music on his phone. Actual waltz music, not Carlos's reggaeton. The key, he said, taking Aria's hand properly, is to let him lead without looking like you're letting him lead. That makes no sense. Welcome to pack politics. He positioned her hands. One here, one here. Now, the basic box step. For the next 40 minutes, Lucas taught her to glide instead of stomp. The elders offered commentary like judges at a competition. Straighter spine, from Sage. Smile, don't grimace, from Doris. Stop looking at your feet, from Martha. I hate this, Aria muttered as Lucas spun her. You're doing beautifully, he said, though you might want to stop trying to lead. I always lead, I noticed, but tonight you need to trust Ethan. He dipped her smoothly. The way he trusted you with those elders. Oh, don't look shocked. He knows exactly where his rent-free warehouse is going. Before she could respond, his phone buzzed. Speak of the devil, Lucas said, showing her the text. How is she? He sent you to check on me, Aria said. He sent me to help you. Lucas typed back. She's going to destroy them all. In the best way. Another text appeared. Take care of her. He trusts you, Aria said quietly. Completely. Lucas pocketed his phone. Which is why I'm going to tell you something. My brother hasn't looked at another woman in 2 years. Not since Rebecca broke his heart by choosing a richer pack alliance. Tonight, when he walks in with you, every wolf there will be watching for weakness. For proof you're not enough. For any excuse to challenge his choice. No pressure. All the pressure. His expression softened. But here's the secret. He won't care what they think. He'll only be watching you. Oh, Wolf said softly. Oh, we're in trouble. At exactly 7:30, a knock echoed through the warehouse. Places, everyone! Doris commanded like a director. Aria opened the door to find Ethan in a tuxedo that should be illegal. The formal wear emphasized every line of power, every inch of controlled strength. But it was his expression that stopped her heart. He looked at her like she was Christmas morning and battlefield victory all at once. "You're wearing the dress," he said. She looked down at the midnight blue gown that had arrived hours ago. It hugged every curve before flowing into a skirt made for dancing. "Your taste is improving." "My taste is perfect." His eyes never left her face. "You're beautiful." "It's just the dress. It's not the dress." He stepped closer, and every elder in the warehouse collectively held their breath. "It's the way you wear it. The way you wear everything, like armor made of silk." "Mark us," Wolf begged. "Please, please mark us." "We should go," Aria said, voice embarrassingly breathy. "Yes." But he didn't move. His hand rose to touch the mark on his neck, now hidden beneath his collar. "It's been singing all day, since breakfast." "That's the magic." "It's not just magic." His fingers ghosted over her bare shoulder. "Is it?" "Ethan." A warning, a plea. She wasn't sure which. "Tonight," he said softly, "when they test us, when they push to see if we're real, remember that this part is." "What part?" "The part where I can't stop thinking about you. The part where I sent my brother to help because I can't stand the thought of you being hurt. The part where—" He stopped. "We should go. You can't just say half of something like that." His smile was rueful. "Ask me in 6 months." The car ride passed in charged silence. Aria's mind spun with Lucas's words, with Ethan's half-confession, with the weight of what waited for them. The pack gathering was held at the Moonstone Club, neutral territory that screamed old money and older tradition. Valets who were definitely wolves, security that moved like predators. "Ready?" Ethan asked, offering his arm. "No," Aria admitted, "but that's never stopped me before." "That's my girl." The words slipped out, making them both freeze. "I know what you meant." She took his arm. "Let's go face the wolves." The ballroom doors opened and conversation died like someone had cut its throat. Every eye turned to them. Dozens of wolves in formal wear, all suddenly focused on the delivery girl playing dress-up with their golden prince. Victoria stood near the bar, white wine in hand and calculation in her eyes. Malcolm and Helena held court near the orchestra, watching their son's entrance with unreadable expressions. And scattered throughout, alphas, betas, rivals, all wondering the same thing. What kind of wolf had marked Ethan Blackwood? What power did she bring? What weakness? "Showtime," Wolf whispered. Ethan's hand covered hers on his arm. "Breathe," he murmured. "I've got you." They descended into the ballroom like warriors entering an arena. The orchestra played something classical and vaguely threatening. Conversations resumed in whispers that followed their path. "Is that her?" "So ordinary." "The mark is glowing through his collar." "Has he marked her back?" "Untraditional. Unseemly. Weak." Ethan's arm turned to steel beneath her hand, but before he could respond to the whispers, Lucas appeared with champagne. "Brother, Aria, stunning as always." He handed them glasses, positioning himself to block some of the stairs. "The vultures are circling early tonight." "Let them circle," Ethan said, but his eyes tracked every potential threat. For the next hour, Aria met more wolves than she'd known existed. Ethan introduced her with protective pride, his hand never leaving her back. She smiled until her face hurt, made small talk about packs she'd never heard of, pretended she understood references to traditions that sounded like another language. Through it all, the mark pulsed between them, warm when someone was friendly, hot when Victoria drifted too close. Finally, the orchestra struck up a waltz. "Dance with me," Ethan said, setting down their glasses. "That's not a question." "No," he led her onto the floor. "It's not." Other couples made space, creating a circle that felt more like a cage. All eyes on them, waiting for her to stumble, to prove she didn't belong. Ethan's hand found her waist. "Remember what Lucas taught you? How did you... I know everything that happens in my territory. His other hand captured hers. Also, he texted me updates. Something about reggaeton? I'm going to kill him. Later. The music swelled. For now, just trust me. They moved into the dance, and Aria's body remembered Lucas's lessons. But this was different. Where Lucas had been a patient teacher, Ethan was. Inevitable. He led with absolute certainty, and her body followed like it had been waiting for this moment forever. The mark sang between them, hot and sweet and demanding. This is it, Wolf whispered. This is what we were made for. You're thinking too loud, Ethan murmured, spinning her. You're holding me too close. Not nearly close enough. He dipped her, and the room gasped collectively. When he pulled her up, they were chest to chest. Do you know what you look like right now? Like I'm about to step on your feet? Like you belong here, with me. Like you've always belonged here. His eyes went gold at the edges. Like mine. The words shivered through her. Ethan. I know, fake, 6 months, I know. He spun her again, and when she came back to him, he was closer still. But right now, in this moment, can we pretend it's real? It feels real, she admitted. Because it is. His forehead touched hers. This part is. The music slowed. Around them, other dancers had stopped to watch. The Golden Prince and his mysterious mate, moving like they'd been dancing together for years instead of minutes. They're all staring, Aria whispered. Let them. His thumb stroked her waist through the silk. Let them see. See what? That you're extraordinary, that I'm completely lost to you. That fake or not, 6 months or forever, you've ruined me for anyone else. Her breath caught. You can't say things like that. Why not? Because I might believe them. Good. He lifted her hand to his lips, pressing a kiss to her palm that made her knees weak. Believe them. The music ended, but they didn't move. Couldn't move. The ballroom held its breath. Then Ethan's hand cupped her face, and she knew he was going to kiss her. Here, in front of everyone. Make it real in a way that couldn't be taken back. Ethan, she breathed. I know, he said. I know all the reasons why I shouldn't. But Aria, His lips brushed hers, soft, barely there. A question more than a statement. She answered by rising on her toes, by threading her fingers into his hair, by kissing him back like the world was ending. Because maybe it was. Her world of careful control and safe distances and protected hearts. The mark blazed between them, visible through both their clothes now. His hands tightened on her waist. Her wolf sang victory, and then, how touching. They broke apart to find Victoria standing beside them, fresh wine in hand and murder in her eyes. Though I have to wonder, she continued, loud enough for everyone to hear, why Ethan hasn't marked you back, Aria. If you're truly mates, I mean. The ballroom went silent as a grave. Victoria, Ethan's voice held warning. It's just curious, isn't it? She sipped her wine. You wear her mark so prominently. It's even glowing. How unusual. What kind of mark glows like that? The kind from a special pack, Ethan said coldly. One that practices high-level shifter magic that ordinary wolves wouldn't understand. How fascinating. Victoria's smile was all teeth. And yet you haven't reciprocated. In 3 months of courtship, you haven't claimed her back. One might wonder why. One might mind their own business, Aria said sweetly. Victoria's eyes flashed. Just trying to understand. After all, an alpha who can't or won't mark his mate might be seen as deficient. Gasps rippled through the crowd. The insult was clear. Either Ethan was physically incapable or Aria wasn't worth marking. Enough! Ethan snarled. But Victoria stepped closer, and Aria saw the wine glass tilt, saw the calculation in those cold eyes. The wine splashed across Ethan's chest, soaking through the white shirt. The fabric turned transparent, revealing the mark beneath in all its glowing glory. Oh! Victoria gasped with fake dismay. How clumsy of me, But look, that mark, it's so bright, so unusual. What kind of wolf leaves a mark that glows like starlight? The crowd pressed closer. Questions buzzed like angry hornets. "Show us yours," someone called out. "Show us where he marked you." "Yes," Victoria purred. "Show us. Surely if you're truly mates, you bear his mark too." Ethan moved to shield her, but Aria caught his arm. "It's okay," she said calmly. Too calmly. "They want to see marks? Fine." She stepped away from him, head high. "Ethan has marked me, and I can prove it." "Please do," Victoria said triumphantly. Aria looked across the ballroom, found a specific face in the crowd. Carlos holding a tray as catering staff, stationed by the light controls as planned. She nodded. The lights went out. The ballroom plunged into perfect darkness. Gasps, confusion. Someone screamed. And in that darkness, Aria's skin began to glow. Chapter 6. The darkness swallowed them whole. In the pitch black of the ballroom, Ethan felt rather than saw Aria move closer. Her scent, cinnamon and autumn leaves, wrapped around him like a narcotic. Then her skin began to glow, faint at first, like starlight through water. "Mark me," she whispered, her breath hot against his ear. His whole body locked. "Aria, please!" Her hands found his face in the darkness, fingers trembling against his jaw. "Before the lights come back. Before I lose my nerve." God, he wanted to. Every cell in his body screamed for it. The mark on his neck burned like a brand, demanding reciprocation. But this wasn't right. Not like this, with her asking out of spite for Victoria, not desire for him. "You don't want this," he managed, though his wolf snarled at the denial. "How do you know what I want?" Her lips brushed his throat, and he nearly came undone. "Maybe I want to show them all that you're mine, that I chose you." "Not like this." The words tasted like ash. "Not to prove a point." "Then why?" Her voice cracked. "Why won't you mark me?" "Because if I do it wrong, I'll lose you." The thought hit him like a physical blow. Where had that come from? This terror that gripped his chest, this certainty that one mistake would send her running? "Ethan." His name on her lips was prayer and demand. "Please." Her body pressed against his, and the glow from her skin intensified. He could see her now, really see her. Divine markings traced her arms like golden tattoos, ancient symbols he couldn't read but understood in his bones. She was magnificent, terrible, beautiful enough to break his heart. His wolf took over. One moment he was fighting for control, the next his teeth found her throat. She gasped, fingers digging into his shoulders as he bit down. Her blood hit his tongue like lightning, sweet and metallic and wrong, too potent, too much, too. The lights blazed back on. Ethan pulled back, blinking in the sudden brightness. Aria stood before him, smiling like an avenging angel. Blood trickled from the mark on her neck, but she looked victorious. Glowing, literally glowing, divine markings visible through her dress. "There," she said loudly, turning to face Victoria. "Satisfied?" The ballroom erupted. Gasps, whispers, someone dropping a glass. Ethan tried to focus, but the room spun. His vision blurred at the edges. What was in her blood? His knees wobbled. The flavor on his tongue, divine blood, his wolf supplied helpfully before also going quiet, overwhelmed by whatever they'd just ingested. "Whoa there, brother." Lucas appeared at his elbow, steadying him. "Ladies and gentlemen, please excuse my brother. He may have had a bottle of champagne before the ball. Between that, the dancing, and this afternoon's combat training." Lucas's voice carried perfectly pitched embarrassment. "Well, let's just say he's been very enthusiastic about celebrating his mate bond. Surprised he lasted this long, honestly. Young love and all that." Nervous laughter rippled through the crowd. Ethan wanted to protest, but his tongue felt thick. The room wouldn't stop spinning. Through the haze, movement caught his eye. Dmitry Volkov from the Northclaw pack was approaching, and something was wrong. Very wrong. Ethan knew Dmitry by reputation. The kind of alpha who viewed murder as a negotiation tactic. The kind who dealt in substances that made normal poisons look like vitamins. And right now, something silver glinted in his hand, barely visible protruding from his vest. A blade. Small. Lethal. Shit. Ethan knew exactly what that was. His labs had been analyzing Northclaw's illegal substances for weeks. The sample results would hit his office tomorrow, proof of their poison trade. But somehow Dmitri must have found out, must have decided to eliminate the threat before. Ethan tried to move. His body wouldn't respond. The divine blood had turned his muscles to water, his reflexes to molasses. Dmitri smiled, cold and sharp. One cut. That's all it would take. One nick from that poison blade and Ethan would be dead before he hit the floor. "Congratulations on your mating," Dmitri said, extending his hand as if to shake. The blade glinted between his fingers. Time slowed. Ethan watched death approach in slow motion, his body too numb to react. This was how he died, not in a boardroom or battlefield, but overwhelmed by his mate's divine blood while a poisoner smiled. Then Aria moved. Fast as thought, she intercepted Dmitri's hand, her fingers wrapped around his wrist, twisted sharply. The crack of breaking bone echoed through the ballroom. "Fuck!" Dmitri snarled, but the blade had already scraped across Aria's palm as she disarmed him. Through their new bond, Ethan felt her pain like a lightning strike. Fresh terror flooded him. That poison killed in seconds. "You bitch!" Dmitri started. Lucas didn't let him finish. Ethan's brother moved with lethal grace, grabbing the fallen blade and driving it into Dmitri's chest. The poisoner's eyes widened in shock before he crumpled. "No one," Lucas said calmly, "threatens my family." But Ethan was already falling to his knees beside Aria. She'd sat down hard, cradling her bleeding hand. The cut was small, but already turning black at the edges. "No, no, no." He gathered her against him, panic clawing at his throat. "Someone call—" "Look," someone whispered. Aria's skin had begun to glow again, brighter than before. The divine markings flared gold, then white, and from the cut on her palm, the poisoned blood began to retreat. Black droplets beaded on her skin like reverse tears, pushed out by something stronger than poison. "Divine blood," Malcolm's voice cut through the chaos. "She carries divine blood." "They'll be the most powerful couple in 3 territories," someone else breathed. "Divine blessing and Blackwood strength united." The words echoed strangely in Ethan's ears. He watched, mesmerized, as the poison fled Aria's body. But something was wrong. The expelled blood wasn't dissipating. It pooled on her palm, black as midnight, and where it touched her skin, darkness spread. "No!" Victoria stepped forward, eyes bright with malicious discovery. Not divine blood, cursed blood. Aria's lips were turning black. The darkness crept up her fingers like gangrene. And her hair, her beautiful red hair, was darkening at the roots, color draining away. "It might have been divine once," Victoria continued, voice carrying to every corner of the silent ballroom. "But whatever God blessed that bloodline also cursed it. Look at her. Look at what happens when it's threatened." Tears rolled down Aria's cheeks, silver against skin gone too pale. Ethan tried to wipe them away, but his hands shook too badly. "Well," Victoria pressed, sensing weakness, "do you condemn it? This cursed blood that runs in your veins? Will you reject the tainted blessing?" Aria's eyes went distant, focusing on something beyond the ballroom. When she spoke, her voice was steady despite the tears. "It's my mother's blood." The simple statement rang like a bell. Poisoned or pure, blessed or cursed. She looked directly at Victoria, and Ethan saw steel beneath the sorrow. "I carry my mother's blood, and I'm proud of it. I am what she made me. Nothing you say changes that." She stood, swaying slightly. Ethan reached for her, but she stepped away. "Aria, I need to go." She didn't look at him. Couldn't, maybe. "I'm sorry about all of this." He wanted to follow. Every instinct screamed at him to chase her, to fix this, to explain that he didn't care about cursed blood or divine blessings or anything except her. But his body betrayed him. The divine blood, cursed blood, whatever it was, it had wrecked him completely. His vision grayed at the edges. Aria, he tried again, but she was already at the door. The last thing he saw before the darkness claimed him was her walking away, back straight, head high. His mate, his mark fresh on her throat, his abandonment complete. Then nothing. "We've lost her," his wolf whispered as consciousness fled. "We've already lost her." The divine blood sang in his veins, potent as whiskey, sweet as poison. And Ethan Blackwood, who'd never lost a negotiation in his life, passed out on the ballroom floor while the woman he'd marked walked away. Chapter 7. Ethan woke to the taste of lightning and loss. His childhood bedroom came into focus slowly. Trophy shelves, old pack photos, the window overlooking gardens he'd raced through as a pup. Lucas sat in the leather chair by the bed, still in his tuxedo from last night, looking like he'd aged 5 years. "How long?" Ethan's voice came out ruined. 6 hours. Lucas leaned forward. "You've been thrashing, calling for her." The mark on his neck burned cold. Wrong, empty. Ethan shot upright, ignoring the way the room spun. "Where is she?" "Gone." The word hit like a physical blow. "She left right after you collapsed. Ethan, you need to—" But Ethan was already moving, yanking on yesterday's clothes. His wolf howled beneath his skin, desperate and wild. The mate bond stretched thin as wire, pulling him toward. Nothing, just empty space where Aria should be. "Ethan, stop!" Lucas grabbed his arm. "Father's called an emergency council. The pack elders are here. You can't just—" "Watch me." He drove like a man possessed, taking corners too fast, running reds. The city blurred past as he followed the fading scent trail to forgotten paws. The warehouse door stood open, boxes scattered across the loading dock. Inside, chaos. The elders were packing with grim efficiency, a lifetime of displacement making them experts at quick exits. "Where is she?" Ethan demanded. Sage turned from folding blankets, her blind eye somehow seeing straight through him. Gone as she should be. "I need to find her." "No!" Jerome stepped forward, and Ethan noticed the old enforcer's hands were fisted. "You need to leave her alone. Haven't you done enough?" "I didn't what?" Carlos appeared from behind a stack of boxes, eyes red-rimmed. "Didn't let them hurt her? Didn't stand there while they called her cursed? She was glowing like an angel, Hermano, like something holy, and they made her feel like a monster. We failed her," his wolf whimpered. "Failed our mate. Please," the word cracked coming out. "Just tell me where she went." "We don't know," Doris said quietly. "She came back, gave us this." She held up an envelope thick with cash. "Said it was enough to get us somewhere safe. Said you'd make sure we had a place to go." "Then she hugged each of us," Martha added, tears tracking down her weathered face, like she was saying goodbye forever. Ethan's chest caved. What else? What else did she say? Sage moved closer, pressing something into his hand, a hotel key card. "She said to tell you she's sorry, that you deserve better than cursed blood, that she won't let you throw away your life for a mistake." "She's not a mistake," the words ripped out of him. "She's everything. Then why didn't you protect her?" Kenneth's quiet question destroyed him. "When they attacked, where were you?" Unconscious, overwhelmed by her divine blood while she faced wolves alone. The shame of it burned worse than any wound. "I'll fix this," Ethan said. "I'll find her, bring her home, I swear." "Home?" Jerome laughed bitterly. "What home? We're being evicted, remember? Your company will have keys to your new residence by end of day." Ethan pulled out his phone, firing off text to his assistant. "Fully furnished. Permanent. I don't care what it costs." The elders exchanged glances. "And when your father objects?" Sage asked. "Then he'll learn I'm my own man." He left them to their packing. drove to Aria's apartment with dread sitting heavy in his gut. The hotel keycard opened a room that looked like she'd never existed. Bare walls, empty closets, nothing left but the clothes he'd bought her, laid out on the stripped bed like an accusation. The emerald dress, the shoes she'd called death traps, the jewelry she'd worn while dancing in his arms just hours ago, and on top a single piece of paper. His hands shook as he read, "Ethan, thank you for Cinderella's ball. Thank you for the dance, the kiss, the dream of being something more than I am. But midnight has passed. The magic is over. You saw what I am. Cursed blood. My mother died because of it, and I won't let it destroy you too. You're meant for great things, proper alliances, strong pacts, a mate who strengthens your position instead of threatening it. Please don't look for me. Let me be the mistake that makes you stronger. The story you tell your real mate someday about the time you almost chose wrong. I'm keeping the mark. It's selfish, but I want something of you to carry. Forgive me for that too. Be happy. Be the alpha you were born to be. Signed, Aria. P.S. The elders need you more than I do. Take care of them." Ethan read it 3 times before his vision blurred. Then he was on his knees, the dress pressed to his face, breathing in her scent while his wolf keened. "Not a mistake," the wolf snarled. "Never a mistake. Ours, mine," Ethan agreed, voice raw. "Always mine." He found it while packing her things, a photo tucked behind the cracked mirror. Young Aria, maybe 7, held in the arms of a woman who shared her wild red hair and fierce eyes. Her mother, the woman who died for carrying divine blood, the woman whose daughter thought she was cursed for surviving. "Mr. Blackwood?" Ethan turned to find his father's enforcers in the doorway. Marcus and Grant, wolves who'd served the pack for decades. "Your father requests your immediate presence," Marcus said carefully. "The council is waiting." "Of course he sent you." Ethan pocketed the photo. "Can't have the air running wild through the city. Sir, I'm coming." He took one last look at the empty room. But this isn't over. The drive back to the estate felt like heading to his own execution. The council would be assembled, 12 alphas who guided pack business, who'd watched him grow up, who expected him to choose power over passion. They were waiting in the formal dining room. His father at the head of the table, mother to his right, Lucas already seated despite not being counsel. And around them, the faces of wolves who'd built their empire on strategic alliances. "Sit," Malcolm commanded. Ethan remained standing. "No." Silence sharp enough to cut. "I said sit." And I said no. Ethan met his father's eyes. "I know why you called this meeting. To discuss damage control. To strategize how to spin last night's revelation. To find me a more suitable mate." "The Riverside Alliance," Elder Catherine began, "is dead." Ethan's laugh was bitter. "Victoria showed her true nature last night. Petty, cruel, threatened by any woman who outshines her. Which Aria did without even trying." "The girl is cursed," Elder Marcus stated. "Her blood is divine, blessed, powerful enough to burn poison from her veins." Ethan's hands fisted. "If you're too blind to see the gift she carries—" "Gift?" Malcolm stood slowly, power radiating from every line. "She destroyed your standing in a single night, revealed unstable blood that will make every pack question our judgment. She ran rather than face the consequences. She ran because we failed her!" The words exploded out. "Because while she stood there glowing with divine power, we let them call her cursed. Because I was too weak to protect her when she needed me most." "Then perhaps," Malcolm said coldly, "you're too weak to lead this pack." The words hung in the air like a blade. Helena made a soft sound. Lucas tensed. The council held its breath. "Perhaps I am," Ethan said quietly. "If leading means choosing politics over love, if it means abandoning the woman who saved my life, who carries God's blessed blood, who marks me as hers even when she thinks she's not worthy," he looked at each council member in turn. "Then yes, I'm too weak for this pack." You would choose her? Malcolm's voice could have frozen flame. A packless nobody with cursed blood? I would choose her if she had no blood at all, if she was human or witch or anything else you find beneath us. Ethan pulled off his pack ring, set it on the table with a soft click. I choose Aria, today, tomorrow, always. Then you are no longer my son. The word should have destroyed him. Instead, Ethan felt free. Malcolm, Helena said sharply. No. His father's face was stone. If he walks out that door for her, he forfeits everything. His position, his inheritance, his name. He will be packless as she is. So be it. Ethan turned to Lucas. Take care of them. The pack, the business. You'll be a better alpha than I ever was. Ethan, don't, Lucas started. My mind's made up. He squeezed his brother's shoulder. There's a property outside Victoria. Small town where I trained Winters. I'll build something there. Start fresh. You're making a mistake, Elder Catherine said. No. Ethan moved to the door. The only mistake would be letting her go. If you leave, Malcolm's voice cracked like a whip, you can never come back. Ethan paused at the threshold. His father stood rigid, alpha authority radiating from every pore. But beneath it, Ethan caught something else. Fear. His father was afraid of losing control, of change, of divine blood that didn't follow rules. I know, Ethan said simply. Goodbye, Father. He made it 3 steps before Helena caught his arm. Wait. She pressed something into his hand, an ancient silver pendant on a leather cord. This was your great-grandmother's. Mother. She was divine blessed, too. The words fell like stones in still water. Your father never told you. His grandmother carried divine blood. It skips generations, appears when the bloodline needs it most. Ethan stared at her. Then why? Because divine blood is wild, unpredictable, threatens the order we've built. She cupped his face. But it's also powerful beyond measure. And that girl, your Aria? She's not cursed. She's exactly what this bloodline needs. Helena, Malcolm warned. Oh, shut up, she snapped, then turned back to Ethan. Go find her. Bring her home. Make your own pack if you must. But don't let fear rob you of love. How do I find her? You're bonded. Helena touched the mark on his neck. Divine blessed mates can't truly separate. Follow the pull. Trust your wolf. She kissed his forehead. Now go, before your father says something we'll all regret. Ethan ran, out of the house, past the gardens, to his car. His wolf surged beneath his skin, pulling south, toward mountains, toward answers, toward her. Hold on, he thought, pushing the car faster. I'm coming, and this time, I won't let them hurt you. The mark pulsed warm against his throat. Somewhere out there, Aria was running toward her past, and he'd be damned if she faced it alone. Behind him, the Blackwood estate disappeared in the rear-view mirror. His entire life vanishing in exhaust and determination. Worth it. All of it, worth it for her. His phone buzzed. Lucas. Father's having a meltdown. Mother's locked herself in her room. The council is in uproar. And I've got your back. Always. The elders will have their new home by tonight. Now go get your girl, brother. Lucas. Save the gratitude for your best man speech. And Ethan, when you find her, don't let her run again. Never. The road stretched ahead, leading to forests and secrets and a woman who thought she was cursed. Time to prove her wrong. Time to choose love over fear. Time to show Aria Winters that some mistakes were worth making, that some bonds couldn't be broken, that some wolves would burn down the world before letting their mate go. The speedometer climbed higher, south. The pull led south. I'm coming, Red, and this time I'm not letting go. Chapter 8. The forest remembered her. Aria felt it in the way the ancient pines whispered her name, in how the moonlight filtered through branches she'd climbed as a pup. 3 days of running had brought her here, to the borderlands of New South Wales, where her mother's blood had soaked into earth that would never forget. "This is stupid," her wolf said for the 100th time. "We should be with Mate." "Mate is probably losing his mind. Mate is—" "Not our Mate," Aria said aloud, though the mark on her neck throbbed in protest. "We're toxic, remember? Cursed blood, he's better off—" A branch snapped. Aria froze, every sense sharpening. The forest had gone silent. No birds, no insects, nothing but the sound of her own heartbeat. Then she smelled them. Pine and aggression and old, festering hate. "Well, well," a voice from her nightmares slithered through the darkness. "The prodigal daughter returns." Alpha Reeves stepped into the moonlight, and 7 years hadn't softened his cruel edges. If anything, time had sharpened him into something worse. Behind him, 6 wolves emerged from shadow. "Hello, Uncle." The word tasted like ash. "Don't call me that." His lips pulled back from teeth too sharp for his human form. "You lost that right when you murdered my sister." "I didn't." "Liar!" His roar shook pine needles from the trees. "We found you covered in her blood. Saw what your cursed bloodline did to her." "Run!" her wolf urged. "Now!" But Aria stood her ground. "I was 12. I tried to save her." "You infected her." Another wolf stepped forward, Marcus, her old trainer. "Your divine blessing turned poison in her veins, just like it did last night, from what we hear." Aria's blood chilled. "How do you—" News travels fast. Reeves circled her slowly. Aria Winters, the packless nobody who marked Ethan Blackwood, who glowed like an angel, then bled black poison, who proved what we always knew: you're an abomination. "My mother's blood wasn't poison." "No? Then why did she die screaming?" Reeves stopped directly in front of her. "Why did her body reject the very blessing she tried to pass to you? Why did we find her turned inside out by divine power she couldn't control?" The words hit like physical blows. Aria had wondered, had nightmares, had spent 7 years questioning what happened that night, but hearing it confirmed. "She was trying to protect me," Aria whispered. "From you." "From us?" Marcus laughed. "We wanted to study the blessing, to understand it, to use it for the pack's glory." "You wanted to breed me like cattle," the words ripped out. "I heard you that night, talking about bloodlines and power and how many pups I could produce before the blessing killed me. And instead, it killed her." Reeves's eyes went wolf gold. "But you're here now. Come home to face judgment at last." "I came for answers." "Then let me give you one." He shifted partially, claws extending. "You're going to die where she died. Poetic justice for a cursed bloodline." They attacked as one. Aria's wolf exploded out of her, divine markings flaring gold across her fur. But 7-1 were impossible odds. Claws raked her flank. Teeth found her shoulder. She fought with desperate fury, but they knew her moves, had trained her themselves. "Mate!" her wolf screamed. "Need mate!" Blood, hers, painted the forest floor. A massive brown wolf pinned her down, jaws heading for her throat. "Any last words?" Reeves asked, still in human form. "Perhaps an apology to your mother's spirit?" Aria struggled, but the weight was too much. This was how it ended, where it began. At least the elders were safe. At least Ethan was free. A roar shook the earth. Black death burst from the tree line, and Aria's heart stopped. Ethan in wolf form was magnificent, massive, midnight dark, moving like vengeance given form. His eyes blazed gold as he tore into her attackers. The brown wolf holding her jerked back in shock. Aria twisted free, immediately joining the fight. And together they were devastating. Where Aria was quick, Ethan was powerful. Where he was brutal, she was precise. They moved like dancers, like partners, like mates who'd fought together for years instead of minutes. Her divine markings flared brighter, and answering marks appeared on his fur, silver lines that shouldn't exist on a normal wolf. "Divine blessed mates," her wolf sang. "Bonded, matched, ours." Marcus fell first, throat torn out by Ethan's jaws. Another wolf tried to flank Aria. Ethan was there, breaking its spine with savage efficiency. She darted under his leap to hamstring a third. Impossible, Reeves breathed, backing away. The bloodlines can't merge. Divine and normal don't. He's not normal. Aria shifted human divine markings, still glowing on her skin. Look at him. Really look. Ethan stood between her and the remaining wolves, his fur marked with silver runes that pulsed with each heartbeat. Power radiated from him, not just alpha strength, but something older, deeper. His great-grandmother was divine blessed, Aria said, understanding flooding through the bond. The bloodline was dormant until you woke it up. Reeves's face went white. The marks. You didn't just claim him. You activated him. Just like Mother was trying to activate me. The pieces clicked together. She wasn't dying from the blessing. She was trying to awaken my dormant power. But you interrupted. Your fear, your greed. You caused the backlash that killed her. No. But Reeves's denial sounded hollow. Yes. Aria stepped forward and the remaining wolves backed away. She died trying to give me what Ethan gave me freely. Acceptance, partnership, love without conditions. Love, Reeves snarled. You cursed him. She blessed me. Ethan's voice rough from the shift. He stood human now, gloriously naked and utterly unconcerned about it. The silver marks still traced his skin like tattoos. Every moment since she marked me has been a gift. He moved to Aria's side, arm sliding around her waist. The power and the connection and the purpose, all of it. Gift. You gave up everything, Reeves said. Your pack, your position. I gave up nothing that matters. Ethan's hand found Aria's, fingers interlacing, and gained everything that does. The remaining wolves looked between their alpha and the bonded pair. The divine markings hadn't faded. If anything, they grew brighter where Ethan and Aria touched. Run, Aria told them quietly. Run and tell everyone what you saw. Tell them the cursed blood is divine. Tell them the Blackwood heir chose love over power. Tell them we're building something new. They ran, except Reeves. You killed my sister, he said, but the fight had gone out of him. You killed her. Aria's voice held 7 years of grief. With your fear and greed and need to control what you couldn't understand. But I forgive you. The word shocked him, shocked her too. What? I forgive you. She felt Ethan's surprise through the bond, his pride. Because hating you keeps me trapped in that night. And I'm done being trapped. Reeves shifted to wolf and fled without another word. Silence settled over the forest. Then Aria's knees buckled. Ethan caught her, lowering them both to the pine needle floor. You're hurt. I'm alive. She touched his face, marveling that he was here. How did you find me? Mate bond. Mother's advice. Sheer, stubborn determination. He pressed his forehead to hers. Did you really think I'd let you go? I'm cursed. You're blessed. We're blessed. Look at us, Aria. He gestured to their still glowing marks. This isn't a curse. It's a gift. Your father disowned me. He said it like it didn't matter. Like she mattered more. I chose you. Would choose you again. We'll keep choosing you every day for the rest of our lives if you'll let me. Tears spilled down her cheeks. I don't deserve... Stop. He cupped her face. You deserve everything. Love, respect, a pack who sees your worth. A mate who'll fight beside you. A home where you never have to hide what you are. Where? The word came out broken. Wherever you want. I have property outside Victoria. We could build something new. Our own pack, our own rules. His thumbs wiped her tears. The elders could come. Carlos. Anyone who needs a home where different doesn't mean less. You planned all this? I planned nothing. His laugh was shaky. I just knew I couldn't live without you. The rest we'll figure out together. Together, she repeated, tasting the word. If you'll have me, if you can forgive me for failing you at the ball, for being too weak. She kissed him, hard, desperate, pouring 7 years of loneliness and 3 days of heartbreak and a lifetime of love into the contact. He responded instantly, pulling her closer, and their marks blazed so bright the forest looked like daylight. When they broke apart, both breathing hard, Aria smiled. "You're not weak. You're mine." She traced the silver marks on his chest. "My mate. My choice. My blessing I never knew I was waiting for." "Is that a yes?" "That's a hell yes." She kissed him again, softer. "Though your mother's going to kill you for not having a proper ceremony." "She'll live." He stood, pulling her up. "Besides, she's the one who told me great-grandmother was divine blessed. I think she's secretly thrilled." "And Lucas? Is already planning to visit with someone named Carlos?" Ethan's brow furrowed. "Something about a dance school?" Aria laughed, really laughed, for the first time in days. "Oh, that's going to be interesting." "Our whole life is going to be interesting." He caught her hand. "Ready to start it?" She looked around the forest that held so much pain, then at the man who'd chosen her over everything safe and sure. "With you? Always." They walked out together, leaving the ghosts behind. Ahead lay uncertainty, building a pack, making a home, learning what divine blessed mates could become. But Aria wasn't afraid anymore. Not with Ethan beside her, not with their marks singing harmony, not with love strong enough to defy tradition and forge something entirely new. "Hey," she said as they reached his car, abandoned at a truly terrible angle across the trail. "Did you really drive all this way without stopping?" "Would have driven to hell if that's where you went." He opened her door. "Though I did stop once. To throw up. Your divine blood packs a punch. That's what you get for biting me even with my permission. Worth it." He caught her for another kiss. So worth it. As they drove away, Aria felt the last chains of her past break free. She wasn't the scared girl who'd run years ago, wasn't the woman who'd believed she was cursed. She was Aria Winters, divine blessed, Ethan Blackwood's mate, and she was finally truly home. "Told you we should have stayed with mate," her wolf said smugly. Epilogue. The Blackwood estate gates looked different in morning sunlight. Less intimidating, more welcoming. Or maybe that was just the effect of Helena Blackwood standing at the entrance in yoga pants and a Columbia University sweatshirt, practically vibrating with excitement. "Finally!" She yanked Aria into a hug before Ethan could even park properly. "Do you have any idea how insufferable my husband has been? 3 weeks of moping." Malcolm Blackwood doesn't mope. It's disturbing. "Mother," Ethan warned, but he was fighting a smile. "Don't you mother me." Helena grabbed his face, examining the silver mark still visible at his collar. "Divine blessed, both of you. I should have known the moment you walked in that first breakfast." "You did know," Aria said softly. Helena's smile turned sly. "Perhaps, but some truths need to be discovered, not told." She linked arms with both of them. "Now come. Your father is in his study pretending he's not watching the driveway." The walk through the house felt surreal. The same crystal and marble, but somehow warmer. Staff members nodded with genuine smiles instead of formal distance. And when they reached the study, Malcolm Blackwood looked older, not weaker, never that, but worn around the edges. He stood when they entered, and for a long moment no one spoke. Then, "I was wrong." Aria's jaw dropped. Ethan actually stumbled. "I beg your pardon?" Ethan managed. "You heard me." Malcolm's jaw worked like the words physically hurt. "I was wrong. About the bloodline, about her, about what makes an alpha strong." "Malcolm Blackwood admitting error?" Aria stage whispered to Ethan. "Should we check for possession?" A sound escaped Malcolm, might have been a laugh. "I deserve that." "You deserve more than that." Ethan's voice was steady. "You disowned me, threatened Aria, chose tradition over my son." Malcolm's composure cracked. "I chose fear over family, and I'm sorry." The silence stretched. Then Helena poked her husband hard in the ribs. "Ow!" And, Malcolm continued through gritted teeth, "I would be honored if you both would consider returning to the pack. Not as heir and mate, that's Lucas's burden now, but as family." "Just family?" Aria asked carefully. Divine blessed family who could probably destroy us all if provoked, Malcolm admitted. But yes, family. Ethan looked at Aria, a whole conversation in a glance. We have conditions, she said. Of course you do. But Malcolm almost smiled. The elders come with us. Full pack membership, not charity cases. Done. Our own territory within pack lands. We're building something new. The southern properties are yours. And Carlos gets hazard pay for whatever Lucas is planning with that dance school. Malcolm blinked. What? Trust me, Helena said. We're going to need it. Lucas has been interviewing instructors all week. He's particularly excited about someone named Isabella. Aria choked. Ethan patted her back, grinning. My baby sister, Carlos explained later, surrounded by elders in their gorgeous new pack facility. 18, fresh out of high school, thinks she's God's gift to salsa. She is, though, Doris said, arranging flowers in the common room. That hip movement. Please stop, Carlos groaned. Lucas seemed quite taken, Sage added with suspicious innocence. Something about poetry in motion? I'm quitting, Carlos announced. Right now, where's my resignation? You can't quit, Martha said placidly. You're packed now. We don't quit. The way Carlos's face softened at pack made Aria's eyes sting. She turned away only to run into Jerome. You okay, kid? Yeah. She wiped her face. They're all here. Safe. Happy. It worked out. Course it did. He squeezed her shoulder. Alpha females always find a way. I'm not an alpha. Please. Sage appeared with uncanny timing. You faced down 7 wolves for answers. Brought 2 packs together through sheer stubbornness. Made Malcolm Blackwood apologize. If that's not alpha, I don't know what is. She's got a point, Ethan said, wrapping arms around her from behind. My mother's already calling you the peacemaker alpha. That's ridiculous. That's accurate, Lucas said, breezing in with a box of wine. Also, Carlos, your sister just challenged me to a dance-off. Should I be concerned? Yes, everyone said in unison. Terrified, Carlos specified. Bella doesn't lose. Perfect. Lucas's grin was pure trouble. I don't either. This is going to end badly, Aria muttered. Or perfectly, Ethan countered. Love tends to start with conflict in this family. We didn't start with conflict. You hit me with a car. You were in the road. You were running a red light. Children, Helena called from the kitchen. Less bickering, more helping. Aria claimed she cooked dinner. I did cook, Aria protested, following the voice. You reheated, Carlos corrected, trailing after. There's a difference. I seasoned while reheating. That counts. That absolutely does not count. Does too. Does not. The kitchen was chaos. Helena and Marcus, the elder, not the dead wolf, manned the stoves. Thomas was teaching Ethan proper knife technique. Doris and Martha argued about seasoning while Kenneth snuck tastes. Out! Martha swatted him with a spoon. You'll spoil your dinner. Impossible, Kenneth said, stealing another bite. Nothing could spoil this. Aria looked around at her found family cooking together, at Ethan laughing at something Thomas said, at Helena teaching Sage to make something that smelled like heaven. You're crying, Carlos noted. Shut up. Happy tears, though. The happiest, she admitted. 2 hours later, they sat around a massive table that hadn't existed that morning. I had it delivered, Helena said, like that was normal. Food covered every inch, some professionally made, some questionably assembled, all perfect. A toast, Malcolm said, surprising everyone by standing. To family, blood chosen and accidentally acquired through vehicular assault. Did he just make a joke? Aria whispered. I think so? Ethan looked as shocked as she felt. To family, everyone echoed, glasses raised. And to divine blessings, Helena added with a wink. However they arrive. The meal dissolved into cheerful chaos. Stories flew, mostly embarrassing ones about Ethan. Plans were made. The dance school featured heavily. Sage sat beside Malcolm, apparently lecturing him about pack economics while he listened with surprising attention. "This is weird," Aria told Ethan during dessert. "Which part?" "All of it. Being here, being accepted, having parents who like me." "Love you," Helena corrected, passing by with another bottle of wine. "We love you. Get it right." Aria's eyes went wet again. "Still happy tears?" Ethan asked softly. "The happiest," she confirmed. Later, much later, Aria stood in the pack kitchen assembling containers. "What are you doing?" Carlos asked suspiciously. "Packing leftovers." "Why?" "For tomorrow's delivery." "You don't deliver food anymore." "Not for money." She carefully labeled each container. "But the Riverside pack has elderly members, too, and the Thornhill pack, and 3 other packs who don't take care of their own." Carlos stared at her. "You're going to deliver food to other packs' forgotten elders?" "Someone has to." She shrugged. "Might as well be the divine, blessed peacemaker alpha, or whatever ridiculous title Helena invents next." "I helped invent that title," Sage said from the doorway. "And it's accurate. Also, you'll need help." "We're coming too," Jerome added, appearing with Thomas and Kenneth. "Road trip," Doris clapped. "This is not a road trip," Aria protested. "This is a quick delivery." "In the pack van," Martha said firmly, "which holds all of us." "We're not letting you go alone," Marcus added. "Pack protects pack." "Even when pack is being stupidly generous," Kenneth grumbled, but he was already grabbing containers. "I'll drive," Ethan offered. "You will not," Helena said. "You drive like you're still being chased by Aria." "I'll drive." "Mother, pack van tomorrow, 9 a.m. She swept out regally. "Your mother's terrifying," Aria told Ethan. "Runs in the family," he said, then laughed as she swatted him. They loaded the van the next morning, a small army of reformed elders and divine-blessed mates. Malcolm watched from the doorway, something soft in his expression. "Taking over the world one food delivery at a time?" he asked Aria. "Someone has to feed the forgotten," she said simply. "Indeed." He hesitated, then, "I'm proud to call you daughter." Aria's throat closed entirely. Ethan rescued her, pulling her into the van while she tried not to sob. "Still happy tears?" Carlos asked as they drove away. "Shut up," she managed. "That's a yes," Sage said wisely. The first stop was Riverside Pack. Victoria herself answered the door, face cycling through about 17 emotions when she saw them. "We brought food," Aria said cheerfully. "For your elders." "We don't have—" "The 6 wolves in the back cottage?" Doris interrupted. "Martha's cousin lives there. We know all about them." Victoria's mouth opened, closed, opened again. "Also," Aria added, pulling Victoria aside, "that was a beautiful dress at the gathering. Shame about the wine. I have excellent stain remover if you need it." What?" "Pack helps pack," Aria said simply, even when Pack is occasionally bitchy. Victoria made a sound like a stepped-on cat. "Thanks for the motivation, by the way," Aria continued. "If you hadn't pushed, I might never have shown everyone the divine blessing. So really, I owe you." "Stop being nice to me," Victoria hissed. "No. I tried to humiliate you, and instead you helped me find my power. Thanks for that." Victoria looked like she might cry. Or commit murder. Possibly both. "Come to dinner Sunday," Helena called from the van. "We're having Italian." "I hate you all," Victoria muttered, but her lips twitched. They left her standing in the doorway, looking confused and holding 6 containers of Carlos's best work. "That was mean," Ethan told Aria as they drove away. "That was politics," she corrected. "Kill them with kindness. Your mother taught me that." "I'm so proud," Helena said, wiping fake tears. 3 more stops. 3 more packs with forgotten elders. By the time they headed home, the van was empty of food, but full of stories, laughter, and plans for next week's route. "You know what this means?" Thomas asked as they pulled into the estate. "What?" Aria asked. "You're still delivering food." He grinned. just with better transportation and worse jokes. Hey, Kenneth protested, my jokes are excellent. Your jokes are terrible, everyone said together. That's Pack for you, Sage said peacefully. Terrible jokes, too much food, and people who drive across territory lines because someone might be hungry. Best pack ever, Doris agreed. Aria looked around the van, at her elders, her mate, her mother-in-law who drove like a speed demon, her family, her pack, her home. Yeah, she said softly, the very best. Are you crying again? Carlos demanded. No, she lied. Happy tears don't count, Martha said firmly. Everything counts when you're pack, Jerome corrected. As they piled out of the van, arguing about next week's menu and whether Lucas would survive Isabella's dance challenge, Aria felt it, that click of everything falling into place. Red Riding Hood still delivered food. The big bad wolf still protected what was his. But now they did it together, with a pack of misfit elders and reformed enemies and family that chose each other every day. No regrets? Ethan asked that night as they lay tangled together in their new home. Only one, Aria admitted. He tensed. What? I should have hit you with my car sooner. His laughter shook the bed. I love you too, Red. Forever? Forever and then some. Outside, the moon rose full and bright. Inside, divine blessed mates held each other close, planning tomorrow's deliveries and next week's family dinners and a lifetime of happy tears. Somewhere in the city, forgotten elders went to bed with full stomachs. Somewhere in yoga pants, Helena Blackwood planned her next matchmaking scheme. And somewhere in a dance studio, Lucas Blackwood met his match in an 18-year-old salsa dancer who didn't care about his money, his name, or his power. But that's another story. This one ends with laughter and love and the absolute certainty that sometimes the best things in life start with accidents. Just ask the woman who hit her mate with a Honda. And that's the end of Marked by Mistake. We hope you enjoyed Aria and Ethan's journey from accidental marking to happily ever after. If this story made you smile, laugh, or reach for the tissues, please hit that like button and share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your favorite moment. Was it the car accident meet cute? Or the elders plotting like fairy godmothers? Leo reads and responds to all of your comments. And here's something special. Let us know in the comments which fairy tale you'd love to see reimagined next. Beauty and the Beast with bear shifters? Sleeping Beauty with a mysterious pack curse? Rapunzel with a wolf trapped in a corporate tower? Your suggestion might just become our next romantasy adventure. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you'll know the moment our next story drops. You'll find links to Dee and Leo's books in the description below. Thank you for spending your time with us in this world of divine blood, accidental love, and found families. Remember, sometimes the best mistakes are the ones that lead us home. Until next time, happy reading, and may all your mistakes be as lucky as Aria's.